Hey guys, welcome back to another episode with Joe and Kay.
I'm Joe.
And I'm Kay.
Thanks everyone for listening.
Yes, oh my gosh.
I thought our ratings would go down and people would stop
Me
listening
too.
to us.
They'll
But
be
that
like-
hasn't happened.
Like, these assholes suck. What a waste of time.
Oh no.
Can you believe how nice the weather's been outside?
No, it's gorgeous. We live in the Pacific Northwest and the sun came out, everyone. So we're like little gophers.
It only happens
who are
like
in our
11 days a
holes.
year.
Yeah. I'm enjoying it. Don't move here, anyone. The weather is horrible.
It's horrible. It rains all the time. Everybody's depressed.
They have seasonal affective disorder. But that I'm a therapist, so it's good for our business.
You know what I was just talking to my friend about this morning is she had texted me about a house in Seattle for sale, or it had already sold, and it was like this rundown, dilapidated house like right in the city, and it went for like $950,000, but it was unlivable. Like it still needed to be renovated.
Like it needed $1 million of work on it.
Yes. And she was like, I'm beginning to think that like real estate where you are is robbery. I'm like, no, it's horrible.
Oh yeah.
So I showed her, I looked up on the website for our state, the income caps for like people to get medical assistance or like, low income assistance. So for a family of 4 in our state, the cap is $7,400 a month. That's low income for a family of 4.
Yeah.
So she sent me where she's from in Vermont on the other side of the United States, and her cap was like, I don't know, $3,100 for a family of 4.
Yeah.
Isn't that disgusting?
Yes.
Because I told her if we had our income somewhere else,
oh yeah,
we'd be living it up. But we're like low class here, like lower middle class. Family.
No, us too. And it is interesting because I've lived places like North and South Dakota where the minimum wage is really low.
Yeah.
But the cost of living is also really low. Like to buy a house, you can buy one for $50,000.
I know, and it makes me like want to move away and like.
But you're not going to make the same there. Like you're not going to. Yeah, and so like that's where. But also, I'm fine with the dark, cloudy weather.
I'm not.
I am not fine with cockroaches, mosquitoes so bad that they have to spray chemicals to keep the mosquito population down. I'm not okay with like fire ants and poisonous snakes.
That is a perk of living here is we don't really have anything like.
No.
We can go swim in any water.
Yes.
And we're not going to get bitten by anything.
Or eaten by an alligator.
Or you can go lay outside and you're not going to get like gnats or.
Yes.
What are they? Chigger bugs?
Chiggers.
Ooh.
Yes. But we also don't have fireflies.
That makes me sad.
Yeah. I've never seen one.
I think we do. Actually,
I'm going to look it up.
We do.
Like,
but it stays so light out, sunlight for so long that you don't even see them.
I'm going to look this up.
In the summer.
I'm looking it up, Katie.
Do it. Remember when you were a kid, you picked the butt off of it and like stuck it into your face?
No, because you grew up in Texas.
Oh, yeah.
So I have never seen one, honestly.
They're amazing, and you can keep them in a jar, or you can like take them and pluck their butts off, and you can stick the glowy parts on your face, and then you would like run around with like glow stuff. Or the house lizards, and if you like pick them up and you pinch them right here on the side, their mouths open up, and then you can like put your earlobes in their mouth, and they would hang off your ears like earrings. So if anybody wants to know more about my ghetto childhood, please hit me up. I'll tell you everything you want to know.
That sounds like something off of like a Disney movie.
No, it's
like
for real.
A Disney villain would do that.
No. Like, I was talking to my husband the other night about like childcare and how when I was growing up, my birth mom was like super psychotic and crazy, legit. And she would use the Mormon people for like childcare. So they would come pick us up and take us to all the youth nights, and like she would milk them for like free food. So they would come with like food boxes and bring it to our house and like give us groceries and like hand me down clothes. And I told him my worst. I hated every Wednesday night because I'd be sitting in this van with all these other kids that I didn't even know, whose parents probably loved them, eating like a hungry man Salisbury steak meal with like half frozen mashed potatoes. So you had to like eat around the frozen parts.
Yep, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Oh, lovely childhood. My kids have never had a Salisbury steak.
A TV dinner.
No.
Good for you. See?
Or a can of raviolis where you eat just the meatballs, but you're not really sure what kind of meat that actually is.
Oh, yeah. We never thought about
so
that.
Good.
Yeah, we just ate that. Like
ate the meatballs.
Yes.
The pasta was like, meh, I just want all the meatballs.
Those meatballs were so good. My mom would do that on nights where she thought she was abusing us, but we were so excited.
Yeah.
That we were getting like
delicious.
Something other than what she
we
was
had
making.
Really bad roaches in our house growing up. So, you know, like the Sugar Pop cereal?
Yeah.
I was so afraid to eat Sugar Pop cereal or like oatmeal because
loved it.
I couldn't tell if a roach was gonna fall in my food, if I would be able to see if it was like a roach in my food. So I didn't eat that. Isn't that great? So anyway.
Well, look at where you are now.
Look at me. So
going to school.
Living in a travel trailer, a really nice one. Somebody's property.
I've thought about that recently because the cost of living is so high. I told my husband, I'm like, guess what?
Let's just buy an RV for like $100,000.
Yes.
Where it like pops out and it has bedrooms.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can just like live on somebody's property.
Mm-hmm. I was going to text you actually and see if
you want to buy some property.
No, I was going to see what this field over here was, or maybe your driveway.
Mm-hmm. We have RV hookup.
Chill for a while.
It's actually not a bad idea.
No, fine. Thanks for supporting me.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So should
we could get a gazebo from Costco.
I've thought about that. They also had recently they weren't there is a tent, but they call it something else. What are those things called?
A teepee?
No. I forgot the name of them. They're like a tent. And so I said, we can just get 3 of them and put them together. And there's our house. And my daughter was excited.
She's like, that's the greatest idea ever.
Yeah.
Mom.
I know. I'm like, you know what?
I've also thought about like buying a little piece of property and putting a tiny home on it. But I can't, no, we're not doing that. With the dog and the husband and the kids and like all be in the same room. Like literally.
Yeah.
That'd be too much. I wouldn't mind having a badass like $1 million RV.
Yeah, I watched like the RV. They have like on the Travel Channel. Yes.
And they pop out.
They're amazing. I know. It is a smaller space. I'd have to reconfigure some things, but I could do it. I'd save a ton of money.
I think so would I.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. We'll do this together so it won't be weird.
Yeah, we could be like RV partners.
Yeah.
I was telling my husband last night I saw some picture and I'm like, you know what? There's so many homeless people where we live and people who live like on the normal, like at campsites and stuff, like they actually live in tents. That now when I see pictures of people camping, I automatically assume that they're homeless.
Yes.
Like that's always my first thought is like, oh my gosh, they're homeless. But I never think like, oh my gosh, they're on a family camping trip. I'm like, oh my gosh, I wonder where that homeless camp is.
And it is because of where we live in Portland is saturated.
It's
like you
horrible.
See tents everywhere when you go into Portland. And even here, there are I was walking on a trail the other day and about 5 or 6 people came out of like the bushes and they were obviously living in there. And
were you by yourself?
I had my baby with me, but yeah, I was by myself.
Very dangerous.
It scared me a little bit.
Well, yeah, I'd be scared too. They would take that stroller.
Yeah. With my baby?
No, they'd give you your baby. They'd be like, give me that stroller. I need to cart my stuff around.
Oh, that's true. No, I think they just need somewhere to live.
It's so sad.
Yeah.
But it's so easy to happen here.
Yeah.
Because you can't afford anything.
Yeah. Oh, and I think, there are people, I know there are people who are employed. And I've worked places like when I worked at a hotel in downtown Vancouver years ago.
Mm-hmm.
There are quite a few workers who are living in their car.
No, I know. Mm-hmm.
And we had a shower there at the hotel, like an employee shower, and they come in and use it and
get ready for work.
One of them, I think one of them may have gotten let go because of it.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about depressing things anymore.
I know.
Let's talk about other depressing things, like mom guilt.
Oh, yeah.
Girlfriend.
Hold on. So, I was looking up mom guilt the other day.
I think mom guilt is probably the worst. It's like a no-win situation.
Yeah, I agree. No win. And I looked at Babysitter.
Mm-hmm.
And they have the top, I believe it's 7. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Top 7 mommy guilt. Things that cause mom guilt. Number 1, I don't think these are in any particular order.
Okay.
Is feeding your infant formula.
We talked about that before.
We have. And I did. I supplemented with my current daughter, and I didn't feel bad about it.
Yeah.
But I can understand when people do. And with my oldest daughter, because it was so hard to breastfeed her, I felt like I just could never give her formula.
Yeah.
So
what's the next one?
The next one is using TV as a babysitter. Do you do that?
No. We don't do my daughter has watched TV. Like, she knows how to turn it on. And then sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, whatever. If I'm finishing up the dishes, I'll let her. And then I just say, hey, remember, you need to turn that off. But my older son, now that he's getting older, he has a little bit more leeway with watching movies occasionally. But no, for the most part, neither one of them we don't own a DVD player. We don't have a tape player. We don't.
Okay, well, that's great.
We don't own video game systems.
I am completely guilty of this. When I was going to school and my daughter was 2, 1.5, 2, I totally used TV as a babysitter.
Yeah.
I would go to Target and I would buy 2 or 3 Dora DVDs at a time.
Put them on replay, girl.
I would stick them in there when I'd have a paper to write or when I'd have a big test to complete because it was online.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
It worked.
So
it
did. And I there are things now that's affected. Well, I can't say I know that for sure. And that's always what moms do, is try to blame themselves. And we've talked about that too. Because she has a hard time concentrating on schoolwork. She is pretty materialistic.
Yeah.
So, and I think we taught her that because instead of giving her our presents, we were giving her presents.
Yeah.
So,
girl, you just got real deep.
I know, I'm like Oprah today.
All the feels. Okay.
But it's true. And so I definitely notice a difference in her.
Yeah.
Well, I think things may have been different if we had not gone that route, but I did not have supports at that time. That's what I had. I had the TV. I was using my resources, like your mom used hers. With the Mormons. Yes.
It's totally fine. Whatever works.
Number 3 is being environmentally unfriendly.
Does that mean smoking in front of your kids? When they get out of bed and you're like, Trying to secretly smoke your cigarettes at night.
What?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't. Is that environmentally, like you're making your environment smoky? Is that what you mean?
I guess. I don't know. What is that environmentally unfriendly?
Like not recycling.
Like not having carpet in your house.
What's it say here? Sorry.
Toxic cleaners.
Says, as you throw out a trash bag bursting with disposable diapers and styrofoam cups, you spot your neighbor hanging cloth diapers on her clothesline.
Oh, forget her.
Her new hybrid is parked on the street.
No.
Not far from your gas guzzler.
Nope, I like a gas guzzler, and I really appreciate disposable diapers. And Betty Sue Joe Boo Boo next door, who has all the time to sun dry her perfect pumpkin patch baby bottom.
So I have read a lot about disposable versus cloth diapers.
Mm-hmm.
I use cloth diapers as much as I could with my oldest daughter. And I used them until my baby right now, until she was 6 months old.
Yeah.
And we had a diaper service.
See, I've used cloth diapers. I didn't have a diaper service, but I used washable inserts.
And
it was fine.
Yeah. And so, and I didn't do it for the environmental reasons.
I did it for money.
I did it for money.
And then I started using 7th generation diapers, or the Honest diapers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or that, I think it's called Baby Ganics.
We use Kirkland brand.
All the chemicals.
I do. I'm like, here you go. Well, you're going to get used to these sometime. Let's do it now. Do you think toilet paper is really supposed to be white? No. So come on. Get that bleach up in your crotch.
They're like goosey goose.
But you can't be too hard on yourself about that stuff. And I feel bad for moms that do.
You know what? I think I admire that about my birth mom of everything, is that she was so crazy, but she literally never felt guilty for anything. Like doing my hair for school, or attempting to, while smoking a cigarette, and like her ashes would fall on my shoulder. Mm-hmm. And if like I moved, or I was crying, like, pulling my hair, Mom, she like smacked my head with a brush, and she's like, do you want your hair done or not? You know, and she never felt guilty.
Well, and
she felt great. Like, yeah, I got up this morning, got my kid's hair done.
I deserve to smoke another pack of cigarettes.
Yeah. Let me do this.
You know, and I think there's been a huge change of like the thoughts of having children. Like, I think children, like when my parents were kids, children were a product of marriage. Like, it was just like what happened when you bang.
Right.
And then with the invention of birth control,
you get to choose.
You get to choose. And so children are more of like a
prize.
Yeah. Like something to be cherished and watched over. And you try to send them to college, even though it's crazy expensive. Like, you do all these things. And it's interesting because I do have friends that think of children kind of in a different way. And I don't know if it's like brought over from how they were raised. But like, I was talking about saving money for my kids to go to college and how I was going to do that. And they better get scholarships. You know, we're just having conversations. She's like, oh my, I'm never helping my kids go to school.
Neither are we.
And I was just like flabbergasted that
I'm not doing it.
People don't do that.
No, I don't. But I also didn't get help going to college either. And I feel like for the kids who I know, adults who I know, when talk about they've gone to college and they're like, oh, my parents paid for it. They were the ones who were like not focusing in school. Like, it didn't matter to them. Like, it was paid for. They didn't appreciate it. It was just like, oh yeah, I don't have student debt. I have this, I have that. It was like, that wasn't a desire that they had, that they were like, this is something that I'm going to do and it's not going to be given to me. And I understand what I'm going to get myself into. But in the same, I am implementing that stuff now. My son recently lost his retainer at school. He was putting it instead of in his retainer box. he was putting it in crumpled napkins, and we've already thrown it away twice at home, and he had to dig out the garbage can to get it and then clean it. And then he left it at school, and the janitorial service threw his retainer away. So he was grounded through the weekend. Monday morning, he had to call the orthodontist, make his own appointment, explain why he was making an appointment, and he had to pull the $220 out of his account and pay for the replacement because I wasn't going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like upset, but I'm trying to tell him and instill in him, like, money doesn't just come. Like, you have to work for it, and that's a lot of money to just shell out because you were being irresponsible.
How much was it?
$220.
Wow.
So yeah, not a lot of kids like have that money, but he hoards his money. We've always taught him about saving, and you don't just go and spend your money. Yeah. So he's got quite a bit of money just from like Christmas and birthdays, and he puts it in his little savings account. But I'm not going to pay for your mistakes. And I already warned you that if you were to do anything and it was your fault that something happened to it, that is your responsibility.
You're paying for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm not paying for him to go to college. He's really smart, and I hope he gets a scholarship.
And that's what we aim for as well. And we also have, if you want to go to a specific college, you have to earn your way there. Yeah. If you don't, we encourage you to go to college, but we expect you to, you're going to community college.
Yeah.
And
it's going to be on the cheap.
Yes. And anyway, they have a bunch of research about that anyway, about if you start off in community college, you're way more likely to actually succeed and graduate with a 4-year degree.
Yeah.
In a reasonable amount of time. Now it takes about 6.5 years to get a 4-year degree. So anyway, I know. We're working with, we're always talking about, and I think it's important for kids to be kids. Yeah. But when it does come up, because I do have a 15-year-old stepdaughter, and then I have my 9-year-old. So she's seen, my 15-year-olds in softball.
Yeah.
And she's not only in school softball, she's in competitive travel. Yeah. Like the higher level of softball. Yeah. And the hope for that is that she'll get her college paid for.
Yep.
And so, I've talked to my daughter about what is it you want to do? Because you can get scholarships in anything. You can get scholarship in music, theater,
There's
sports.
So many out there.
Yep. And I did. And I just, it's important, My parents paid for a little. Yeah. And then when it came to a master's degree, now I was totally on my own.
My dad would help me buy like textbooks, but that's about it.
Yeah. That's about what my parents did. Yeah.
I didn't take on anything else, but I appreciate it too. And because it's me and my drive, I want my kids to have the same thing. Like, this was totally my decision. Nobody pressured me to go to school. Nobody pressured me to go to college. So if they want it, then I am going to fully support that, but they're going to have to pay for that themselves.
Well, and currently, we're in a place where minimum wage is being raised to $15 per hour. And so then with somebody with a master's degree who's making around, not too crazy much more than that, then what's the point of going to school?
Exactly.
So I don't know if how that's going to alter or change things either. Because
but I think that is, we're isolated with that to our specific region. Like, it's so expensive to live here.
That's true.
So I think if we were to make what we made right now in another state, like Louisiana, we would be totally fine.
Oh yeah.
Where up here, they're just trying to match the minimum wage with like minimum living standards.
That's true.
Which is disgusting to think that $15 an hour is going to meet minimum living standards. When that used to be like a good paying job.
Yeah.
And now if you want to even live, you have to make at least $30 an hour.
And that's barely living.
I know.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Yep.
All right, what's next?
Number 5 is leaving your child with another caregiver.
Meh.
No, that's
No,
fine.
I don't have guilt with that. Like a babysitter?
Or
I'm like, hallelujah.
the example they give on Baby Center is
like daycare?
Daycare.
Oh, okay.
Is like it's the first day of daycare and your baby seems fine, but you're a wreck.
Yeah.
Tears drip down your face as you stop for one last kiss and you drive to work, fighting the urge to turn around.
Oh my gosh. I bet that mom lives in the Pacific Northwest.
Because they have to
They
work.
have to work.
Yeah, I don't know.
afford it.
I don't know any. I don't know any stay-at-home moms.
Me either. I know stay-at-home work moms.
Yes.
I know moms who work in professional capacities that do not have daycare, which is both of us.
Yeah.
And
as of recently, and I have to have daycare Friday.
Yeah.
And I should be actually having daycare Monday.
Well, that's nice.
I try to work around with her. Like, I'm like, please fall asleep so I can get this done.
I know.
And that's not, I think she's outgrowing that. So I might have to get
a little extra.
Little Monday daycare, some Friday.
Something.
Friday, I do work because I work Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
And who knows how long that's going to last. I'm just like praying it'll last till she's in kindergarten.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait for my kid to go to kindergarten.
My mom, when other moms would say that, like at our church and stuff, my mom would get so offended.
Really?
Yeah, she was like, I love my time with you guys. My mom is kind of a saint. And I don't know. She was just
I love spending time with my kids, but I can't wait for them to go so I can have time during the day.
Yeah.
Because then I can actually get things done and be available in the evening.
Uh-huh.
You know? All right, what's next?
Availability. 5. Oh, wait. Sorry. 6. Yelling at your kids.
Guilty.
I rarely yell. I do a stern mom voice, and I got the mom look.
Yeah.
When I yell, it's because I've lost it.
My husband's a yeller. I'm not. I have a tone and a facial expression. And it's a louder voice, but it's not like yelling.
Yeah.
But my kids are they're pretty well behaved. I don't need to.
When I get my yell on, my daughter automatically, I'm sorry. Like, yeah. Okay. Awesome. Well, you should have been sorry when I had the finger and this stern look. But also with parents, I don't know any parents who've never yelled at their kids. That's going to happen. That's part of.
And if you say that you've never yelled at your kids, I'm sorry, but
maybe they have a voice defect that doesn't allow them.
Maybe that's true. Like when dogs get their voice box taken out and they're like,
exactly. So I have to say that what I do see oftentimes with parents who have kids with behavioral issues, a lot of times that yell is what they go to first.
Oh yeah.
And they also do the extreme punishment as they get, especially as they get older.
Yeah.
I'm removing your door. I'm removing the bathroom door. I'm removing your makeup. I'm taking your cell phone.
Oh my gosh. I used to get my clothes put in timeout.
Oh my gosh.
So we had to do our own laundry. And if my clothes like were left in the dryer, let's say, and somebody went in there to do their laundry, and by the time they needed to use the dryer, my clothes were still in there, they got bagged up and taken away from me. So on laundry day, I would literally just like be in the laundry room, like making sure that my stuff wasn't going to get taken away. And we also wore uniforms at school. So I'd always have to like leave something out or wash my clothes like in smaller loads to make sure, or I would have to like call a friend and borrow clothes from somebody.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds like you learned.
I did. Don't want my clothes in timeout.
Do you ever do that with your kids? Like,
no. Okay. Well, they're young right now. I don't really. No.
My daughter has to do her own laundry. She's 9.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't have, she's like, Mom, I don't have leggings. I'm like, well, sorry.
Should have washed them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I still do my kids' clothes, but my son, he's older. He does a lot of chores around the house. So, like, he makes my bed in the morning. He's got to, like, pick up around the house. Like, he's got things to do. But I haven't done laundry yet. Mostly it's my OCD, and I don't want somebody pushing the wrong button on the washing machine and, like, oh my gosh, putting too much soap in it. Or
my mom was like
soap.
that with our kitchen. Like, I was like, Mom, I want to cook. She's like, out of my kitchen.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want people in the kitchen. I don't want people in the laundry room. All right, what's the last one?
Number 7. Not being able to afford the small extras.
Nah.
Or not being able to afford all the extras. The example they give is, your mommy friends have all signed up for a popular and expensive kids music class. Nope. You'd love to join, but you can't afford it. This made me laugh. You gloomily envision your children playing in the symphony while your own child mops up their sweat.
Oh my gosh. What? Is that for real?
That's what it says. It cracked me up.
No, I'm like, when I hear moms, they're like doing all these elaborate things. They're like, oh, this dance class costs $200 a month. I'm like, that's so stupid. Like, just turn the freaking radio on and dance in your living room. Like, I am not paying for that.
With my daughter, I've encouraged, because I didn't have those opportunities, and like, I view them as opportunities. So I had her in swimming. She fought me though. Okay, first it started with ballet. She didn't want to do it. She'd fight me. And she was exhausted. She started, her day at 7 a.m. At 4 o'clock, she hadn't had a nap. We've talked about that before. Yeah. My no napping daughter. She was exhausted. Yeah. And so I thought, and I would come home from work early that day to take her to ballet, and it just wasn't worth it. So we quit that. Then we went to swimming, because I think it's really important to know how. I made her do swimming. And I wanted her to continue because she was pretty good. And I thought, well, maybe she could do swimming competitively. Yeah. Nope. So then I put her in dance, and I started with jazz. She didn't like that. So then we went to acrobatics. She enjoyed that. And then quit. And now I'm trying. Well, she wants to learn how to play the guitar. Yeah. But we've taken some time off because I'm just done signing her up for stuff and having her quit 3 months later or 2 months later.
That's why I don't do it. It's a waste of money, and I'm only going to do something if they ask for
really
it.
Want to. Yeah.
But like my daughter, she's been asking to be in dance classes, but she cries too much, and I'm not like. I know it sounds like kind of harsh, but I'm not going to have her like embarrass herself. Like, she needs to be able to really maintain herself in all settings before I pay for her to go and do something and just look like a complete.
Do you think she'd do that for teachers though?
What?
Like, do you
she's
think
a fussy child. Yeah. Not like a full on meltdown, but she whines a lot. And it's like, I don't want her to disrupt the class and be whiny with other people or like need the teacher to pull her attention away to deal with my child. And it's not like she's got some weird behavioral issues or anything. I mean, she's 4.
She's 3. Oh, okay. She's 4.
She just turned 4.
Yeah.
So it'll come in its time, but I'm not. You see all those parents are like 3-year-olds and they're like flopping around on the floor and crying, and they're all trying to like talk. Okay, just stand. If you do good, we'll go get us a prize afterwards.
My daughter's dance classes. I've never seen that. Oh, and she was in the one ballet class where the teacher said if they can't cooperate, they just can't be in the class.
Good.
And that's like ballet though, like strict, like, so.
Yeah, I'm not ready for that yet. And honestly, I don't have time to like.
Yeah.
I think at 4 years old, she doesn't understand the commitment that goes into that. And for her, like, I could buy her a tutu and, like,
have her dance around the house.
And she would think it's equally just as great.
We had a Bella Dancerella for my stepdaughter, and it was, like, her favorite thing. It was a video. And she'd watch it and dance around and, like, had the most fun. And then we actually put her in ballet, and she hated it.
See, that's that's what I'm saying. I don't think you have to spend money to have fun with your kids. And no, we're not doing that.
No, and I think parents a lot of parents are stressing themselves out financially.
Yep.
Stressing, like pulling themselves in a million different directions when they don't need to.
Yep.
And with all the stress that we already have to provide for our kids, extra stress coming from other parents. And that's what it is. And like not having that affect you.
Yeah.
And say, you know what? I'm just not going to do that.
Good for you.
Yep. I'm glad I hope your child goes to Juilliard.
Yeah.
But you know, it's how people perceive things.
I have a few mom guilt things that we didn't touch up on.
Oh, okay. Is this mom guilt? Is this our mom fail?
No, this is just some other mom
to
guilt
go
things.
along with mom guilt. Okay.
Playing on your phone when you're at the park with your kids.
I never feel guilty for that.
Do
you?
Hiding in the bathroom away from your kids?
No, I don't feel guilty for that one.
Still haven't lost a baby weight.
That's I don't understand that.
Oh, I do.
Totally.
Oh. Birthday party wasn't Pinterest worthy. Drinking alcohol after you found out you were pregnant. Or like drinking alcohol and then you found out you were pregnant. So it's like, then you have all that guilt that you were like drinking and I hope it didn't hurt the baby. I had no idea I was pregnant.
It's so interesting too with alcohol because getting fetal alcohol syndrome.
You really have to be like.
Well, no, it's the same as getting pregnant. So it just has to hit the fetus at the right time. Mm-hmm. So that's why they say you shouldn't drink when you're pregnant. And it's not like people who are just drunk all the time get fetal alcohol syndrome.
Yeah.
It's when you're drinking at that moment when certain things are forming and they haven't been able to pinpoint exactly when that is.
Yeah.
So they do say things like if you're in labor, you can have a glass of wine to see if it's actual labor. And I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I'm not a doctor by any means, but I do know how that, all works. And so I think, there have been babies that have gotten fetal alcohol syndrome when their moms had, a glass of wine a day or a cup of, beer a couple times when they were pregnant because it hit them at that right point. So I don't know if people just don't understand that. I don't know.
Do you have a mom fail? Let's talk about that.
Do you feel guilty when you're on your phone at the park?
No, because I don't like going to the park with my kids.
Okay.
It's like, ugh. It's horrible.
That's why I
do that
took you
as,
to the park.
Treat to go to the park.
Yeah.
Like, they can go outside and play in the backyard or like hang out in the front yard and like ride their bikes around. My kids play a lot outside anyway.
Yeah.
So I feel like for us going to the park, it's not like something because they're always outside that it's nothing like brand new. And I feel like kids that really get excited are the ones that are like always cooped up watching a lot of movies and it's like, oh my gosh, let's go to the park. And then
outside.
they're just like, oh.
And I think most kids have a predisposition to want to be outside.
Yeah.
It's the parents who are like, well, I'm busy here. Watch a video.
Yeah.
I go to certain parks. There are some parks I don't go to.
Oh yeah, I like going to the splash pad with them.
Oh, fun.
Like they love going to the splash pad and I'll totally do that. But
and I do. That's when I get on my phone.
Yeah, my husband takes the kids to the park a lot. Mm-hmm. Well, the little one, my older son is like not into going to the park. He's like, he just wants to play basketball at the basketball courts.
Aww.
Yeah. But.
My mom fail. Yeah. Let me think about it. Do you have one?
Yeah, this actually just happened last night.
It's a fresh mom fail.
I don't know if it's like a mom fail or honestly, I was so confused because I've never experienced anything like this in my entire life that I just kind of like froze and watched the whole thing happen. But I was in my bed last night doing homework and my daughter had already been to bed for like an hour and a half. And she woke up crying but came out of her bedroom, which is like a huge thing that she never does. She never comes out of her bedroom because she knows the rule is like you don't get out of bed until we open the door for you. Mm-hmm. So for her to actually like come out of her bedroom, I was so like, oh my gosh, are you okay? and I heard her bedroom door open and she's crying, but it was like this weird cry. And I was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Come here, come see mommy." And she like walked into my bedroom, but then she just like beelined it for my bathroom, but like making this weird cry. And I walked into my bathroom and she's like picking up towels off the floor. And
She's
I'm like, "Oh my gosh,
sleepwalking.
she's totally sleepwalking."
Yeah.
So I call my husband. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, come up here. Hurry, hurry, hurry." And he bolts up the stairs and we go into my bathroom. She literally took her pull-up off and was peeing standing up on the towels in my bathroom, crying all at the same time. And my husband's like, "Why'd you let her pee on the floor?" I'm like, "I didn't know she was going to pee on the floor."
Yeah.
Like, I just was like, she's never, ever, ever done that anywhere, like, ever before. And she woke up while she was peeing on the towels. And then it scared her.
Yeah.
Because then she had pee all over her feet. So I'm having to, like, clean her up and put her back to bed. And
they say don't wake a child, like, when they're having...
Yeah, that I do know that. I used to sleepwalk a lot when I was a child. And I do know that you're not supposed to wake somebody up, like, when they're sleepwalking.
Yeah.
That
reminds me of Step Brothers.
Insane. And I looked it up last night, and it was like, child, like, what do kids do when they're sleepwalking? It was like that, urinating in inappropriate places.
My daughter woke up and went to go pee in a dog dish.
Nuh-uh.
Yes, for real. And I was talking to my mom at the kitchen table. She was probably 6. She was 6. And she just started pulling her pants down over a dog bowl. And I redirected her to the bathroom. And she was starting, like, to cry and, like, flail.
Yeah.
But she was sleeping the whole time.
So is my daughter.
Yeah.
I was, like, worried, and I read this one article, and I asked a therapist friend, too, like, is that normal? And it was like, well, sleepwalking, like, from 4 to 8 is, and it usually happens about an hour and a half to 2 hours after they have already been to sleep.
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, she was totally asleep for an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden...
And I wonder, too, when they become aware of that urge to urinate. Like,
that's what my husband said if we're going through, because she still has accidents through the night. And it's something I beat myself up because my son was sleeping through the night dry at 2. And here she is, like, newly 4, and she still has to sleep in a pull-up. So I always feel like, is there something wrong with her? Like, does she have something? But when I talked to the pediatrician about it, she was like, well, has she ever been dry through the night? And I'm like, no, never. And she's like, then it's not
And my daughter was the same way. She was never dry through the night. She potty trained herself when she was 20 months old.
Yeah.
She just started using the potty. But she wet the bed until she was like 6.5.
That's what the pediatrician said, that it's not uncommon for them to go up until the age of 7.
Mm-hmm.
And still.
Yep.
But you never talk to other parents about that. Like, hey, did your kid still sleep in a pull-up? Because she's totally potty trained through the day. Pee, poop, on demand. I don't have to ask her. She's good. It's only at night.
Yeah, my daughter had a sleepover once. And she was like in 2nd grade. Mm-hmm. And one of the girls came to me and said, I wear a pull-up. And it was so sad because I don't think she slept at all. I think she was too scared that other girls would find out that she was wearing a pull-up. And I thought, well, maybe this is too young to be having sleepovers. Because I was kind of on the fence about it anyway. Yeah. And it was the only one she's ever had.
Yeah.
And I thought, we'll do maybe again when she's like 13. But, you know.
Aww. So anyways, that's what happened last night. I say it's a mom fail because I just, like, panicked. And I just, like, watched the whole thing happen. Like, I didn't even know what to do.
I think that's what you're supposed to do.
You just let it happen?
Yeah.
But what if she's like, I don't know. That was insane.
She wasn't hurting herself. She wasn't. She was peeing on some towels. But yeah, no, I hear you. It's just one of those, like, mom, like, I should know what to do in this situation.
And I don't.
Why am I? Yeah. I am panicking.
No idea.
Yeah.
Oh, my word. I'm gonna hide my towels from her.
No. My parenting fail has been, it's actually just my attitude, I should say.
Guilty.
It is, right? That's the theme of my life, mom guilt. My daughter and my husband, okay, all my kids and my husband were gone for like 2 days. And this happens periodically because my stepdaughter lives 2 hours away and I work on the weekend. So when my husband goes and sees her, I can't go. And I can't watch my kids because if I get called out to a call, I have to like emergency leave.
Yeah.
And my kids can't just hang out there by themselves. So I loved it. I loved every second they were gone. I was like, I'm getting my personality back. I went and had dinner by myself. Here's what I did. I went to Black Angus. They have like the $4.99, like the $49.99 meal special. I got one there and I got one to go. And I was like, I'm not cooking. I'm not doing anything. I text messaged friends.
You should be guilty about that.
I went out.
Yeah.
I had mojitos.
Yes.
I hung out with people. It was fun.
I kind of wish my husband would take the kids for the weekend and go somewhere and just leave me at home by myself.
And my husband last night, I thought he was coming back today. It's Memorial Day. I thought he was coming back today. And he decided
to surprise you,
come back last night. He knows better than to surprise me because I don't do well.
Yeah.
But he called me. He was like, guess what? We're coming home tonight. And he really wanted me to be excited.
And you're like, why? Why
like,
would you do that to me?
Don't you love me?
Stay back.
And like I had to pump when they were gone, and I was so annoyed about it. I was like, here I am pumping,
sitting here in the glory of my house.
And I'm like, oh, I've got to, like one of my friends were hanging out. I'm like, I've got to go home and pump. So dumb.
For real. There's nothing sexier than like girls' night. You're like, be right back. I have to go pump real quick.
I asked her if she'd milk me, and she got kind of weird about it.
Did she?
Yeah, I was like, well, you don't have to use your hands. You can use your mouth.
Are you sure you're really friends?
Well, she's like my BFF. So like I know. Are you saying if she was really my friend, she would have done it?
She would just sit there and watch TV and like milk your
expressed
breast.
My milk for me.
Yeah. Hand expressed it.
We're gonna have a talk.
I think you should.
Hey, you know, if you're listening, listen to what Kay said. Are you my real friend?
You need to milk those tits, girl.
Yeah, milk them.
Have fun with it. Make chai latte with colostrum added. DHEA.
Oh no. Okay, what's your product?
And breast milk.
Yes.
Oh, it is?
I think so.
I don't know.
It is.
My product, honestly, I just want to give a shout out to Costco. Literally, my product is my Costco membership card.
Do you have the
executive?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I told my husband we just upgraded recently to the executive because we shop there so much. Like
you might as well. You would have earned it. Yeah.
And they did like a 50% off on the upgrade, so it only cost like $30 more to upgrade it on the day that we did. But I haven't got my black membership card, and I just told my husband like how low class I feel just pulling out my regular old
your white one,
my basic bitch Costco card.
That's what I have because I am a basic bitch.
Yeah, he was like, you're actually dumb. Like, what are you talking about? But really, all my favorite things come from Costco. They literally have everything there.
Well, and that leads
moon cheese.
Have you guys tried it?
Moon cheese is so good, you guys.
Kay was like, you've got to try this. And I was a little leery. Oh my god.
She's not leery anymore.
I'm kind of addicted to it.
So am I.
And it goes great with my pick of the week.
Which is?
Zip Fizz.
Okay. Which flavor do you like?
Oh, Fruit Punch is the best.
That's my favorite when I order it on Amazon because you can buy it all by itself on Amazon and you don't have to like waste all the other flavors. And they just came out with lemon iced tea. This is
nice.
And it's
I had no idea.
Good.
Lemon iced tea. I'm trying it.
It tastes like Arnold Palmer.
Oh yeah, those are my fave. Okay.
Tastes just like it.
Fruit Punch Zip Fizz. So it gives me some energy, but it doesn't give me like that coffee energy.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. It's just something, and having that with a salty snack.
So good.
So good.
It's like the best combination.
So good.
I like laying out in the sun and drinking my iced tea Zip Fizz.
I like your cup and everything.
Cash and carry.
Really? Do you just get a whole thing of them? And
Yeah, this pack of 500, you get a box of straws. And then the cups are like $6, and it comes in like this big.
See, other moms would feel guilty. Like, oh, I'm just throwing that plastic away, but not me.
Not me. I recycle.
I do. My kids wear hand-me-downs.
I recycle.
It's
fine. I love all the plastic. These are great water cups because when they're gross, I can reuse them. I'll wash it out.
Uh-huh.
But if they're gross and they get gross after a while, then I'll just throw it away.
Because that happens with my cups that I get, like, you know, when I get like a Hydro Flask or whatever.
Yeah.
When that happens, I'm like, ew. And I throw it away anyway. So let's just be real.
Right?
All right. Anyway, I hope you guys aren't feeling too guilty listening to our mom guilt.
Don't ever feel guilty. Just do you. Your kids are going to be fine no matter what. Honestly, like, I think there's something to say. I had like this horrific childhood, like absolutely horrible, and I'm totally fine because of like my own personal resiliency. So I want moms to like not be hung up on doing like, oh, I yelled at my kid before they went to bed and now they're going to be like heroin addicts. Like,
yeah,
your kid's probably going to be a heroin addict regardless if you yell at them or not.
This is true.
So don't get hung up on yourself. Like if you're a divorced parent and you're split parenting and all your other friends have the same baby daddy, like, girl, whatever. Who cares? That's your family. It's your story. If you have wine at night before you go to bed and you're a little tipsy when the kids wake up in the middle of the night, it's okay. They're not going to know. They're going to think mom is in the great ass mood.
Preach it.
Right?
Preach it, Kay. No, you're right.
Do you. You're not going to ruin your kids.
And
just don't be doing heroin in front of them.
Yeah, you know or, I mean? You know, and there are, I mean, let's get real. If your kids are fed, if your kids are clothed, if your kids
and it
are...
doesn't matter if they have MSG or high fructose corn syrup or what the F ever. If you buy your groceries at the Dollar Tree, girl, just feed your damn kids.
Yeah. And you meet those emotional needs.
Give them a hug. Make sure you tell your kids I love you. I think that's a really big thing.
Yeah.
I meet a lot of families who don't verbalize I love you.
Oh.
And they don't hug. They're just not like, and it's more common than what you think. Like families, they just don't. It's like a normal, like, oh, I don't have to tell them that every day because they just know. No, your kids just don't know. And I tell my kids I love them all day long. And you want to build that relationship and that expectation in your relationships with your kids. And they're like, it has to be a comforting and accepting environment. So hug your kids, tell them that you love them, be cheesy, tell them the cheesy things, because just as we as adults and women need to hear those things from our husbands or our friends or our parents, our kids are craving to hear that too.
Yes.
So be good.
It can't get old.
Have a glass of wine and then cry about how freaking cute they are.
Yes.
And how much you love them. And then yell at them for being an asshole.
Yes.
It'll be fine.
It's going to be okay.
Guys, we'll talk to you on the next episode.
See you then.
Adios, muchachos.
Bye.